Welcome back to Ted's Fish Room. The biggest difference between my new room and the old fish room is that this space is designed as a wholesale facility, and lots more fish are going to move through these tanks than what you would normally have going through your home aquarium fish room. That being said, the way the systems are set up here can still teach you something about how to set up a fish room to make it more automated and easier to use. The first up, we're going to talk about the aquariums themselves, the sizes that I chose, why I picked them, and how I use them to organize the fish in my fish room.
You may not think so when you write the check, but the glass is the least expensive purchase in your fish room. Tanks can literally last forever, while everything else will wear out. To get the best value for your tank purchase, it is best to get the mix of sizes right from the very start. Small aquariums have the advantages of being easier and faster to water change, cheaper to treat for disease, less expensive per gallon to purchase at the start, and being easier and cheaper to heat and filter. Large aquariums are advantageous for holding larger numbers of fish, keeping larger species, and are easier to maintain chemically, requiring less frequent water changes. Ultimately, it will be the types of fish you want to keep and breed that will determine the size tanks you use, but having a diversity of sizes will make it easier to meet the different needs in the fish room. In my fish room, the primary function is to hold fish, and even though larger tanks can hold more of them, I decided that the versatility provided by many smaller aquariums trumps the ability to hold a lot of fish in one tank. My fish room is only 1,800 square feet. Most wholesalers have a lot more space to work with. So if I used only 30 breeder aquariums, for example, I would only have been able to fit about 70 tanks in the main part of the room. I chose to use more smaller aquariums so that I could house many more species at the same time. The two main racks in the fish room hold 55 10-gallon tanks and 44 each of 15 and 20 long aquariums. A 15 or 20-gallon aquarium is plenty of space with the right filtration and water change regimen to hold 100 or more small fish. These 250 Galaxy Rasboras are in a 15-gallon tank. If I have more fish of a species than I can hold in one tank, I simply split the group into 2 or more aquariums. This is convenient for fish like these fancy guppies. That way I can keep the sexes for each variety separate. Species that are more delicate and disease-prone, like these rummy-nosed tetras, can be split up between several tanks. This allows me to keep them less crowded, and I don't have all my eggs in one basket. The 10-gallon tanks are reserved for mostly special needs. When the number of fish in a larger aquarium sells down to just a few, I can move the leftovers to a 10 and open the larger tank for new fish. I can also use the 10s as isolation tanks for aggressive fish, hospital tanks, or for growing fry. The 30 breeder aquariums are most useful for larger species, like these wild angels from Peru, or this group of pearl gouramis. The 30 breeders are also useful for large numbers of small fish that can withstand being crowded, such as these pygmy cory cats, or these cardinal tetras. The 30 breeders are all oriented face out, 3 high, on vertical racks built with 2x4 boards and dado joints. If you are not familiar with this style of construction, I will refer you to the original Ted's Fish Room video series, in which there is a video specifically about cutting and using dado joints. The smaller tanks are also on dado cut racks, but they are oriented end out to save space, and the racks are stair-stepped to accommodate the different lengths of the tanks. This type of rack requires more wood than a vertical rack. I should also mention that each row is comprised of several small racks, each being only about 5 feet long. That way, I can move racks around if I want to. Long, single racks are not so versatile. I will cover the specifics of the water change system in a future video, but each tank is drilled for an overflow bulkhead at the back of the tank, and the racks are set in place so there is plenty of space to walk and work behind them. Most small fish rooms sacrifice this convenience for the space it requires, but in my experience, being able to easily get behind the tanks makes life a lot easier. I am very happy with the layout of my new fish room. So far, I have not had any space shortages. The best gift you can give yourself for a new fish room is to commit to a plan for tanks, racks, and layout, and then stick to it. You will save yourself a lot of headaches later.